Alright, into game number one, we are seeing the Reenact and Boss Ruka getting pre-banned by the right side here. So the priority of FCC is going to be a little bit lower, just for my own preference. I'm going to go ahead and pick up ML Illinab here. And the reason why I'm picking up ML Illinab is because I do have ML Illinab on a protection set and immunity and Aureus. So it allows me to buff stack. I also have a crit chance necklace on her so that I can crit whenever I need to just do a little bit of fluff damage. It actually comes out pretty useful sometimes. An opponent is going to go for Fallen Cecilia in the response here. Now, Fallen Cecilia doesn't really give me a whole lot of information. It's just a good mitigation knight. My DPS options are a little bit more limited in terms of, say, for example, if I want to play like Bellion or Shu or whatever. And I think there's a common misconception that like if people pick FCC, you can't pick Bellion into Celine, right? But that really is not the case. And that's actually what I'm going to go for here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pick up a neutral unit on 2 and go for Bellion on 3, since I can deny the soul burn on Celine so that she can't, nimble sword into nimble sword into nimble sword and just kill my entire team with like, 40, 60 souls. And right here, I'm going to go Luna here, and then I'm going to go Bellion on 3. This way it limits his options here in terms of soul burning, right? And obviously Luna is going to be a pretty like just neutral opening pick, right? It gives me souls for Bellion if I want to just S2. If I want to soul burn S3 to deny any passives, or if they're playing too slow, I can always like get a little bit more aggressive if their 3-4 picks are pretty weak. So it gives me a little bit of flexibility in terms of how I want this match to go, since I already have my mitigation and Ilnav on the top. And he goes for DDR and Blood Moon Haste. Honestly, those picks are, not bad picks. I think Briarwitch Iseria is really, really problematic for him, since I can just like stop him from reviving completely. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up.
Stay alert.
And then along with Briarwitch Iseria, I kind of want to get another unit that can let me control his team a little bit. I think Operator Secret would be like really troll. I think Schneel could be a potential pick, since he cannot, apply any of the venoms and stuff like that onto me, which would be really, really annoying, obviously. And that is probably what I'm going to go for here.
Ooh, that's a scary face you've got on.
This way, if he bans my Briar, I have Schneel versus this, I can ban last. If he bans Schneel, then I can always unbuffable him, and then he has no way of also applying Pestilence and Venom and all that stuff, right? But I do need to be mindful that this can obviously cleanse, right? So he goes for Emelocades here. If he goes for Emelocades here, I'm probably banning DDR here, because I already have Ilnav for the Blood Moon Haste, which is probably what I'm going to do, or I can just commit to banning last, as I was saying. I'll ban last. I don't want to overthink it. I mean, Briar's already a really solid force ban, so I already have a lot of fixed damage through. So we'll see how this goes. I really don't think that like it's too big of a problem. She can obviously S3 and cleanse right away, so I can just go for an S2 here.
Do I scare you?
Obviously, she can still nimble on turn 1, which is going to be really annoying. Okay, never mind. She can't. I was a little bit skeptical of not doing enough damage, but that's good for me. So he actually soul burns there, which I'm not sure why, because he didn't get the nibble sword. But anyway, I digress. I'm just gonna go for S3 here with Schneel and just put up defense buff.
Let's use our words. Time for me to get back.
And hopefully start cycling here.
We've been putting off all this paper.
Okay.
Worry not. The doctor is here.
DDR is not gonna press. If he presses, I instantly refresh my Schneel damage, so that wouldn't make any sense. It's going to be a very long and hard fought-out game here. I think the fact that he burns Celine's Soul Burn on turn 1 is going to be really, really bad for him, because he has to work down my Ilnav first. Otherwise, this game is not looking very good for him, but... Okay, I don't want to crit this by accident. Probably just work the mitigation in the front here. More often than not, you're probably going to be targeting mitigation first in any game, because as soon as the mitigation falls out, it makes your game a lot easier, especially if I have 3F and stuff. And yeah, he just FS, right? As soon as I soul burn Luna, he can't play the game, so GG's. Alright, so into game number 2, Zio Harsetti are pre-banned, so what did that tell us? Means it's probably a relatively aggressive player, right? And knowing that information, I don't want to... I could play Renak, which I... Nah, I'm not gonna play Renak. I'm gonna go
Someone
Bossa
needs
here.
to be made an example of.
I don't really want to, like, if I go Renak first pick, he goes FCC, like, Bossa, it's gonna be kind of annoying. Plus, I really don't know who this is. So if I had a little bit of insight on who I'm fighting, then maybe, you know, I would have a different state of mind. But he picks up Renak and FCC here, so I can either like speed up or I can slow down. Both options are probably okay. So right now I'm contemplating how I want to approach this. He already has a really fast unit opening here, and he has mitigation. I'm not opposed to just going like Veronica Litica. Am I crazy? I might be crazy.
Only by the will of the
So I'm gonna go
gods.
Veronica Litica. Obviously I'm just securing an imprint on 2 here, but more importantly, later in the draft, a common answer into Litica teams are usually gonna be a Miki. And so it can kind of like deter people from trying to like pick a Miki into you, but usually if you're first pick, you don't really have to worry about a Miki on the 3-4-2 too often, unless you're really, really overcommitting on your top 3 picks. And he goes for Designer a little bit. Not super problematic, I don't think. A little bit problematic though. But I'd say it's not super problematic just because Veronica can push this back, right? And as long as Veronica can push this back, you're disrupting the combat readiness so that you're messing up the flow of Dilibet's comp. Or not Dilibet's comp, but the place where Dilibet is on the CR bar is what I mean. So goes for Bellion here. Okay. Immediately right now I'm kind of thinking like Janua maybe. I kind of like SBA as well, but I don't think SBA will be able to do enough. That's the only problem. So I might just go for like Spirit Eye Celine or something like that. Like a Celine plus whatever, but then I can't really... Celine... Celine...
The spiritual energy here.
They get on my nerves.
I hope this
thought
is
you
enough.
removed them.
Yeah, as long as I can disrupt it, but she might get too much CR, so it really just depends on the CR bar here. I could always just S2, S3, push it back if I don't land all of my debuffs. I think this is not really that useful.
Last chance to run.
Ooh, what? Okay, not the pick I was expecting. Okay, so I'm just gonna boost ahead and try to just kill with Celine, probably. I'm just banning FCC here because this last pick is not impactful for enough for me to ban it, right? Like, yeah, he can potentially stun or whatever, but in the grand scheme of things, I can always just like try to like work around it.
Is it time to draw my sword?
So I'm just gonna go for the S2 here to boost with Renewed Will.
I will fight until
I felt that. I felt
heretics
that.
will be punished.
And I can push the designer a little bit all the way back at the CR bar.
Eternal sleep.
And yeah, she cleanses it, but I mean, that's not a big problem for me. And then I can go for Soulburn S1 kill this. I don't even think I'm gonna S3. I'm probably just gonna S1 on this and try to kill. I don't want to give a free counter to the Bellion, right? So I'm gonna try to just give this out. And this is probably where Wind Rider would actually be a lot better. But you know, what can you do? If I S3, I push this back. S3 goes. This pushes up. Boom, boom. Okay, yeah. So I S3 the guard captain crowd to push it back to the combat readiness, while Dilibet's gonna gain combat readiness here. And she's gonna guarantee cleanse, but it's gonna boost my Arunka forward as well. So I just want to get this Crow out of the game as soon as possible, right? And my Arunka can for sure win versus Bellion, so I'm not too worried about it. I even got a counter, that's huge. Okay, so I could go for regular S1 or I can go for S3 to guarantee a kill here. I think S3 is probably better just so I can get barrier and defense buff. And just be a little bit tankier so that if I do end up countering with Arunka on Dilibet or Bellion or whomever, I'm getting as much damage as possible. And 32k Bellion, so it is quite tanky, but odds are looking okay for me. Odds are looking pretty good, I think. I could always just get like a defense oh, hey. Alright, well, that's not good. Yeah, that's really bad, actually. I think Arunka wins this. I think. Yeah, I just have to counter. Just counter over and over, right? I'm defense breaking this Bellion, so he has no ER since he's 32k HP. I don't think Dilibet's ever death breaking me either, so I think it's fine. I just have to probably focus the Bellion first. And as long as the Bellion dies, I mean, this game is probably over. Yeah. And that's the power of running Arunka Anchor, right? Like, and that's why some ER sub is actually not too bad on her. Because I'm pushing 25% combat readiness each hit. And realistically, you're probably just not ever stopping that. Then I'm gonna get barrier here and defense buff refresh. Like, Arunka Anchor is just gonna be too strong here for him to stop. Yep. Show me another counter for the justice in the world. No justice. Show me a justice. Show me some justice in this world. I mean, at this point he's roping. I can win 2v1. Boost. Bellion goes. Surely I just counter here again. How did I know? I'm a genius. Pushes me more combat readiness. I'm chilling. And just S1 finish this. And game over. Alright. On to the next one. So my Arunka looks like this. I'm just 3k, 24k with 120 ER. Nothing too crazy. Ideally, if I could meet like 150 ER, that'd be even better. So I might try to look for a build like that, but we'll see. So opponent actually picks up Arunka here, pre-banning the Luna and Renak. So I'm gonna go ahead and go for Ilanav here. Or even FCC wouldn't be bad either, honestly. I think FCC is okay, but I think I have a little bit of a preference on Ilanav here since Renak is banned. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick up C-Phantom Politis. And the reason oftentimes in these episodes you'll see me do Ilana SVP, and the reason I do this is because if they decide to play like Emalua into me, then I can always play like Bellion and stuff. And I mean, this guy is basically just gonna try to cleave me, right? He's basically not even gonna try to back down at all. So I need to find some picks that can help me easily win the game. I think Seaside Bologna is a really good pick here. But I need to come up with some other good answers as well. I can't just have Seaside Bologna. But, you know, maybe it's not terrible. I could try. So I'll lock my DPS in Bologna here. And then I need to run some cleansers here. So things like Holiday Euphine, Blue Elena, if you don't have Holiday Euphine, is good. Both of those cleansers I think are pretty decent here. I think I'm going to go for Elena though. Yeah.
Children of the stars will be saved.
It's a little bit risky because if she tags you, you can always get tagged, but I want to try it. I'll give it a try. I've always been preaching Holiday Euphines in all these episodes that you guys have been seeing, but I'm going to give Elena a try because she does have Veronica on here, so we'll give that a go. SBA is really problematic for me. I mean, Dilibet is just a force ban for now, right? So Dilibet is an absolute force ban. So if I go Dilibet, I know I can for sure get the force ban through. Then again, is that necessarily true?
with you.
No, I don't think Dilibet is actually a force man, actually. No, it probably is.
It's my time to shine.
Go Dilly here. Obviously this is gonna proc Elena, and then this procs this. Hmm. I'm gonna ban Araminta. Oh, wow. He 50-50'd it, and he lost. Okay. That's kind of surprising. Alright, then I just basically don't press my buttons. And Celine's not going to have that much value, right? So Lidica can S2, she can do whatever she wants. I don't care. Alright.
Is it time to draw my sword?
Completely chilling. And this is the problem with people doing 50-50 bans. And what 50-50 bans are is basically like, you pick a character and then you just like, you try to fake people out and like do a different ban, right? Rather than playing like, quote unquote, like conventionally. This goes on highest attack, so obviously it's gonna give my SSB, so I'm just gonna go for S1. Just don't press any abilities here. Like, we don't want to let Celine just delete one of my units completely for free. She like makes no sense in doing so, right? My Dilibet's gonna cut in front, so eventually I'm going to be able to get a cleanse off, so I'm not worried about this in the
I'll
slightest.
do whatever I have to. For a better tomorrow.
And Veronica S3 does go. He's only 8k, so very, very squishy. Dilibet is coming down the combat readiness bar, so I feel pretty
Someone
safe.
needs to be made an example of.
Better hold on.
Now, worst case scenario is if Dilibet gets defense broken, Celine kills me. I mean, that'd be the worst. But he did not land on me, which is best case scenario, so I'm going to go for the S3.
Let me give you a makeover.
But even if he did, technically I still took the turn, right? Since his Celine was too slow.
Is it my turn?
So in the grand scheme of things, it really made no difference. This is just free win.
Should I show you my secret weapon?
He burns with no
It's
attack
not my
buff.
fault if you get
I think it's fine. Alright, I'm absolutely S3ing here. Since I know the Celine is on highest attack EE, it's gonna go on Seaside Bellona. And my Seaside Bellona has barrier still, and she's in the back, right? And Celine's not in range to cut. So I feel super safe, so I can guarantee myself to get the extra proc from Rainguard Drink here. So I can dish out as much damage as possible here.
I'll accept
Beautiful.
Your duel.
S3, and GG. On to the next one. Alright, into the next game here. We have Luna Lidica getting pre-banned by the right side. So again, tells us probably a relatively standard player, probably not going to be overly aggressive. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up Basarunka, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up Fallen
As
Cecilia.
long as I'm holding the
Alright.
spear.
By this point, if you have these two characters, you probably already know, and you probably already are doing it in your own games to pick these two characters together. And he goes for A Tywin and ML Sharoon. Okay. So immediately right now what I'm thinking is, what kind of DPS carries can I pick that can fight versus this draft? Right. I think inherently Hua Young could be decent, but Hua Young, if he bans FCC, which he most likely is, it's going to be a little bit too much damage for me to tank, right? So that's the only problem with that. So I'm probably inclined to go like Celine plus AOL.
Wow, I'm left
And the
with
reason why
no
I'm going to go
choice.
AOL here is because if he does ban mitigation, which he most likely is, I'm most likely going to have to ban Renac. That's just the fact of the matter, right? Otherwise, my whole team can live, right? So we're most likely going to be trading bans like this, 1 and 2. And I just need to get a pick that can really screw his tempo here, right? Which is buff reliant, right? And then I have a DPS that can cleanse, and it's going to be protected behind Arunka because he's going to have to ban FCC. Otherwise, he won't be able to break through my team with the Renac, right? So having this information, I have to pick 2 units that can synergize well with the Arunka that can fight versus the other 2 picks because I'm banning top, right? And that's basically why I picked AOL, right? Hopefully that makes enough sense. and he doesn't have a lot of space to move, right? He already showed his hand. He has a lot of like debuff, but I have a really, really good anti-debuffer here, and I just maybe need to pick one more. Worst case scenario.
I'll do my best.
Laya. Is Laya annoying?
So nervous.
Laya's not overly annoying. You know what'd be really good right now? Some kind of like conch or something. I will go hand guy.
There's still filth to purge.
I'll ban top. You see what I mean? Almost always, the Renac player bans FCC. They always ban mid. Almost always. And that's an adjustment people have been making on ladder, so obviously we have to adjust to that as well and try to like ban top, right? Alright,
Careful.
so I do get to go first, which is great. I kind of want to break a barrier here so I don't get fried. So honestly, I might try to give this if I can give this Sharoon on turn 1, that might be worth it. He's not on Aureus, right? He's on Bastion of Perlucia, as I can see here. And I can just give him turn 1. Which is probably what I'm gonna do. Since I have a Runka in the front, right? I can just give the top, I can just give the front line and then I'm good. And then the game's over. There's literally nothing he can do anymore. Like literally there's nothing he can do. Literally nothing. The game's over. I put up immunity, he has no way to strip me. I hard focus Laya,
Just like a dream.
and it's game over.
My rhythm.
Such arrogance.
Like S3 won't do anything, he'll just give me skill null, right? What is he doing? Now his Tori's gonna S1 into skill nullifier.
May blessings be with you.
Alright, game's over. Exactly. GG. Alright, so once again, we're going to be going into the part where we're doing like the draft breakdown as I'm trying it out in these episodes now of explaining my thought process in the drafts at the very end in case you're trying to learn there. So in the first game that we played today, which you can always skip back in the timestamp if you want to, obviously I see that these Renac Reban and Boss Arunka just means we're playing like one meta or like a patch behind, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up Empyrean Ilanav here, and he goes for FCC Celine, right? So I'm like, okay, I can see that he's pretty neutral. He has a cleanser, he has mitigation, he can buff stack, right? I go for Luna, and Luna is obviously a neutral opener. I can soul burn, I bring souls to my own team, I can S2 for death break, all that stuff. And then I have Bellion here, and like I mentioned in the very first match, Bellion into FCC is not that bad. Like, yes, the 3F does impact, like, her passive impacts at 3F damage a little bit, but inherently, Celine is a very squishy target, and Celine requires really heavily on soul burning, right? And knowing that I can deny her from Nimble Sword, I picked the Bellion here to shut this down, right? I shut the Celine down, now this is a dead pick, right? I can kill this with 3F even through the barrier and through her passive, right? And then subsequently, he goes with Blood Moon Haste and DDR, and he picked Blood Moon Haste into Ilanav. By that point, the game was over, right? I just need to get 2 picks that can basically counter his whole draft, ban last, and the game was done. Second game that we played, we saw Zeo pre-ban, so we knew that it was probably going to be an aggressive player, and we did go for Arunka, and then he goes for Renac FCC, right? I see Renac FCC, pretty standard answer. He can still go aggro. I decide, you know what? I'm going to go play faster. So I'm going to go Veronica into Litica, and then he picks Cleanser plus Bellion for 3F damage. I go Celine with Araminta, and I recognize that his Fire Crow was a really bad last pick since it offers nothing to his draft, so I just ban mitigation, kill his whole team, right? Next game. So I see Renac reban, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to prioritize FCC and things like that. So he goes for Arunka first pick. I go Ilanav and SPP. Again, reason why I do so is because if they decide to go for Emalua, I can always play Bellion, right? If they don't play Emalua, they play tankier, I can go Janua, right? And then I don't have to deal with the Ilanav threat when I play Janua myself or just anything that has some form of damage penetration. And subsequently, he goes with Veronica Litica. I go SSB Elena for a cleanser. And then, like I mentioned earlier, I don't care about Celine. right? The reason why I don't care about Celine is he picked Celine to counter the Elena pick, right? And the reason why I banned Araminta is because I can, like in my previous game, I can get pushed back on my Dilibet, right? I can get resource reduced, right? I don't necessarily have a guaranteed cleanse versus Litica. And seeing that, I'm going to deny the soul burn, and even if he S2s, he has no soul burn to tag my high ER Elena, and I'm on Maga Raha Tome, which means I have 50% combat readiness boost, cuts in front of the Celine, so worst case, I eat the Celine S2, and then I press S3, right? And then that way the Celine is going to go into skill null, invincibility, and he can't kill me, right? Last game, you guys saw what happened. Pretty straightforward, right? We banned the Renak exactly how we projected, and just take over the game from there with the rest of our units, right? So that's it for episode 7. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in episode number 8, and don't miss the tournament. So take care. Bye.